Her age seemed to be between 17 and 20 years old. She looked very agitated, glancing in all directions and hugging herself, possibly to shield from the cold. I immediately thought she might need help. Maybe something bad had happened to her. Was that it? Or was it a trap to get robbed? That often happens on the highways. I was about to drive past, thinking my own safety was more important. However, I immediately remembered my daughter. Both were of similar age and build. I put myself in the shoes of the girl's parents and would be very grateful if someone with a good heart helped her in such a situation. I slowed down a bit. And well, honestly, I'll tell you that I took the gun I carry with me on every trip. I placed it on my lap, hoping I wouldn't have to use it to defend myself. I could tell the girl seemed shy. I stopped the truck beside her without turning it off. Then she cautiously approached. "Excuse me. Good evening." "Good evening. Do you know if it's far to Los Mochis? Are you headed to Los Mochis?" "Yes." "I'm going in the right direction, aren't I?" "Oh dear." "Yes, you are, but you still have a long way to go." "What are you doing out here alone?" "Well, I was at a party, but there were some problems." After glancing around, I concluded that she was indeed alone, so I decided to put my gun away. I didn't want to scare her. "Hey, look, I'm actually headed to Los Mochis. If you want, I can give you a ride, don't worry. I have no bad intentions, besides you'll freeze out there." She gave a quick look at the truck. I noticed she didn't think much about it and decided to get in. The poor girl really looked scared. "My name is Alberto." "What's your name?" "Jacqueline." "My name is Jacqueline and—" "Thank you so much." "No, it's nothing, don't worry." "So, Jacqueline, let's go. You'll see we'll get there very quickly. In about 40 minutes or maybe less." I was quite intrigued to know why she was walking at that hour. Alone. In the middle of nowhere. "Hey, what happened at the party you were at? Did something bad happen to you?" She hesitated to answer but eventually did. "Well, I came to a party with some friends in a small town called El Carrizo. But they all got very drunk and then started fighting with other guys. So I just left." "Did they notice you left?" "Yes. In fact, they tried to take me back home. But as I said, they were very drunk. So I didn't want to get in the car with them." "Well, look, to be safer, I'll take you to your house. I don't think I'll have to go too far off course, and it's very late for you to be out alone." We had only been talking for a few minutes, but I think it was enough to earn her trust, as she didn't hesitate to give me her address. As I thought, it wasn't far from where I had to deliver my cargo. I noticed she was touching her stomach with one hand. I assumed she was hungry. We weren't far from reaching a gas station on the outskirts of a town called Chihuahua. "Hey, how about I stop to get something to eat at the OXXO?" "Sure." As I was getting out of the truck, she asked me, "Sir, can I use the bathroom?" "Yes, of course, go ahead. In the meantime, I'll go into the OXXO." "What would you like to eat?" "No, don't bother." "Well, I'll bring you something anyway." When I returned with some food, I realized Jacqueline still hadn't come back, which worried me since she had been gone for a reasonable amount of time. I saw a gas station employee near the pumps and approached him. "Excuse me, good evening. Have you seen a girl in a purple dress come out of the restrooms? She's about 18 years old. She came out a while ago." She was about to get into the truck, but then a silver car parked nearby. There were several young guys in it. In fact, I think they were friends of hers because they greeted each other. After a while, the girl got in with them and they left. "So she went with them?" "Yes." She kept looking over here at the OXXO as if searching for something. Then she got in. "Do you know which direction they went?" "They took the road towards Los Mochis." "Thank you very much. Have a good night." "You're welcome. Good night." I thought they might be her friends, although I didn't like the idea of them being drunk, as Jacqueline had mentioned. I ate what I had bought and set off. I continued driving towards Los Mochis. The road remained dark and lonely. I couldn't stop thinking about that girl's safety. After talking with her, I realized she was a very pleasant person. I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. About 40 minutes passed and I finally reached my destination as I had been instructed. They told me to wait for a new load to take to Wadham Harry. While they did that, I considered heading to the rest area to nap a bit, but instead I decided to clear my doubts. I poured myself a strong coffee and went out to take a taxi. I requested to be taken to the address Jacqueline had given me. When I finally saw her house, I thought about leaving. After all, it was almost 1 in the morning. But then I thought her family might appreciate my concern for her, so maybe it wouldn't be a big problem. I knocked on the door, and after a few moments, a man in his 50s peeked through the window. "Yes, what do you need?" "Excuse me, sir. My name is Alberto and I'm a truck driver. You see, a few hours ago I met Jacqueline on the road. She told me she lived here." I noticed a slight frown on his face. "Please come in." "No, look, I just want to know if she got home safely." I offered to bring her here, but... Yes, I understand. But really, come in. It will only take a moment." Feeling quite concerned, I entered his house. "Excuse me, my name is Alfonso. You see, I am Jacqueline's father. I don't know how to tell you this." At that moment, Senor. Alfonso pointed to a photograph hanging on the wall. "We're talking about the same girl, right?" "Yes, sir, that's her. She's the girl I picked up on the road." "Has she arrived yet?" At that moment, I felt like I was about to enter an uncomfortable conversation. It sounded like the classic horror story where a taxi driver takes a woman home, only to find out she was already dead. I felt exactly like that. I began to smile nervously, fearing what he was about to tell me. "First of all, Senor Alberto, I want to thank you for caring about my daughter. I apologize for the inconvenience. If I'm telling you this, it's because I'm genuinely pleased to know there are people with good hearts and that, in some way, my daughter crossed paths with you. Look, my daughter, Jacqueline. The girl in the purple dress you picked up on the road. She's already passed away." Even though I was expecting it, it shocked me. So much so that I felt a pang in my stomach. What do you mean she's passed away?" "That's right, as you hear it. Come over here. I know you won't believe me, so you need to see this." "Señor." Alfonso led me to a small table where there was another photograph of Jacqueline and some candles. She died 3 years ago in an accident on the road. That day she went partying with some friends here in a town called El Carrizo. They were all drunk and the car overturned. No one survived. "Sir, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say." "Oh, my friend, there's nothing to say. Thank you very much for caring about her." "No, it's not. But please, if you see her again, don't pick her up. You were very lucky, you know? I've heard that she causes accidents. A few people have picked her up, but shortly after they suffered a similar accident on the road. As far as I know, 4 people have died and others have been injured. All of them came here later, claiming that Jacqueline was with them, but when emergency services arrived, she was nowhere to be found." I was literally speechless. I didn't know what to say. "May I ask you something?" "Yes, go ahead." "My daughter, how did she look?" "She was scared at first, but then I saw her calm." To not prolong this story further, I told him everything that happened. He kept thanking me as he walked me to the door. Once again, he emphasized that I should never pick her up if I encountered her on the road again. He only asked me for one favor. He asked me to pray for Jacqueline's soul, hoping she could finally rest in peace. Of course, I agreed and left, wishing him a good night. As for me, I was left with an unsettling feeling. I couldn't shake off the image of Jacqueline and the inexplicable encounter I had experienced. Even though I tried to rationalize it, the story Senor Alfonso told me haunted my thoughts. I returned to my truck, still processing everything. Before continuing my journey, I took a moment to reflect and say a quiet prayer for Jacqueline, hoping that wherever she was, she could find peace. As I drove away, the night seemed darker and the road lonelier than before. I couldn't help but glance in my rearview mirror, half expecting to see her again. But all I saw was the empty road stretching into the distance.